Okay.
So good morning and welcome back to the class. We are going through our chapter on data handling. So to continue with it, we have already drawn the bar graph and the histogram for a given grouped and ungrouped data. Now moving further, we will learn what is a pie chart. So I am going to play a video of my own recorded class where I'm introducing the pie chart to you. So allow me to share my screen and then maybe I have to mute from here. So if there is anything that is bothering you, please stop me and ask me. Otherwise, I would not pause the video unless it is absolutely necessary. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ये सेशन हमारे साथ जुड़ चुकी हैं मिस हारिनी डीएमएस आरआईई मैसूरू से। हारिनी जी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका।
Namaskar and a very very good morning to all my dear children and the viewers and thank you Rahul ji.
थैंक यू वेरी मच, आप हमारे साथ जुड़ी। चलिए शुरू करते हैं डेटा हैंडलिंग। मेरे पास कुछ याद है अभी भी मुझे, और मैंने भी थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस किया है। हमने बार ग्राफ सीख लिए थे और पाई चार्ट भी थोड़ा बहुत बनाना है शायद आज, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है।
आज हमें पाई चार्ट ही बनाना है।
चलिए ठीक है, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं आपके साथ।
So welcome back to the class, my dear children. We are on part 2 of data handling. So we will do a quick recall of what we have learned so far in our previous class. So we have seen what is a data. So data is an information collected in a context of a situation. So unless you have a situation and a context, collecting any information becomes useless. So a data is specific to the context of a situation. So suppose you want to find the performance of the students of class 8 in a particular subject of maths, then the data that you collect will be the marks they have obtained in a maths test win. So this is how a data is an information particular to that context of a situation. So this is what we have seen. Later, when we started collecting the data, data has come to us in a very, very unorganized manner. So what we get on collecting is a raw data.
Yes.
So with the raw data, we cannot draw meaningful information. So to make the information more meaningful for the context that you have collected it, we have to start organizing the data. So how did we organize the data in our last class? You should be remembering we had the frequency distribution table which was prepared.
Yes.
और उसके लिए use किया हमने tally marks लगा के we could go on and create the frequency distribution table. So once the table was ready, more information could be usefully drawn from the data. So organizing was one part. Then moving on, we thought of grouping data because when the data is very large, like I had given you an example where the performance of students of class 8 of a particular school, then the data is slightly small. But suppose you want the performance of students in the board exam, particular subject for a particular region, then the data is going to be very big. In such a case, you cannot handle every entry of the data individually. So there we may have to group the data together as class intervals. This also in the last class you have seen how you could create the class intervals and put the entries inside those class intervals and hence leading us to the grouped frequency distribution table. Later, we moved on to the interesting part of the chapter, which was the graphical representation of data.
Yes.
Where we were talking about the pictographs, the bar graphs and the double bar graphs, which
And
was
the
a quick recall of what you have learned in class 7.
Yes.
So grade 7, you already had all this. The only new thing which was added to that was the histogram. So in the last class, you have clearly learned to put the given tabular data in the form of a histogram, which was having all those rectangular bars that you were drawing using the tabulation given to you. Now today, we have more interesting things waiting for you.
Okay.
So today's our learning points are three major ones that we are going to see.
Okay.
The first thing is that we are going to understand what is a pie chart. So
Okay.
far we have seen the bar graphs and the histograms, which are all rectangular bars standing erect. All right.
Yes.
So today we have the circular graphs. The name itself is very interesting. You are going to draw circles and get graph out of it. So let us see how these are going to help us in collecting useful information. So
Okay.
once we understand the pie chart, we will also see a few pie charts and try to interpret the information they are trying to convey.
Okay.
So this is very important, because unless you are able to get the information from the pie chart, drawing any kind of representation becomes redundant. So
Right.
that is the second learning point. And finally, we will read on how to represent a given tabular data in the form of pie charts. This is the most interesting part of the chapter, so I kept it at the end. So at the end of this class, each one of you will be well equipped to handle a tabular data in the form of a pie chart. And once the pie chart is drawn, you will see how the information comes out. It emerges out and tells you, see, this is what I mean from this data. So we will right away start with the pie charts, which I have already called as the circular graphs. So I have a few images here for you. They are very colorful and you should be very happy seeing them right there. So what is the first the impression that you get? They are all circular in nature, and there are some portions which are made in the circle. And you are seeing them represented as portions of circles, means this is something called as sectors, which you
Right.
were aware of already. Because
Right.
this is the region lying between two radii of the given circle. So the first information says it is the gold medal distribution by country in the 2016 Summer Olympics. So
Okay.
by just having a glance of this pie chart, you can clearly and quickly say that the United States is the country which is having the maximum share of the gold medals in the 2016 Summer Olympics.
Right.
So this is the strength of the pie chart. A glance is enough to tell what is the major information you're able to draw from it. Then you're seeing the other countries, the Great Britain, China, the Russia, Germany, etc., having their own shares.
Right.
So what is done here is you are comparing the share of each of this country with respect to the entire circle. The
Right.
circle represents the total number of gold medals available, in which each country has its own share. So this is how a pie chart gives us information. It tries to compare between the sectors which are created and the complete circle. That is the relationship which is there between the sectors and the complete circle. Now come to the second pie chart, where you are having the composition of milk. Milk is made up of many components, like you have the lactose, the fat, the protein, and the minerals. By just a glance, again, you're able to say lactose is that component which is present to the largest amount in the milk, because it
yes.
is occupying 37%.
37%. Yes.
Yeah. Now moving to the last one, here you see the world population by continent wise by 2050. At just glance will tell you that Asia is going to be the continent which is going to have the maximum population by 2050, because it is covering more than half of the circle. You should be
Okay.
able to see it is almost 60%.
Mhm.
So this is the strength of the pie graphs. It is always giving you the relationship between the portions of the circle and the entire circle. So I have another beautiful pie chart here for you. It is depicting the budget of a nation when it was planned. So you are seeing, again, we are seeing that the green area, that sector, is the largest one there. So if the circle represents the budget of the nation, we can clearly say that the allocation for Medicare and medical aid is the maximum in the budget of that nation.
Right.
So again, here what are you trying to see? You're trying to see the relationship between the sector which is taken and the complete circle. So a pie chart is a circle divided into sectors. Those are the portions of the circle, representing the relationship between the whole and its parts. The whole is the circle and the parts are the sectors. So this is exactly what we are trying to understand today, a pie
Right.
chart. So quickly, I'll just go through all the points I've been speaking so far to bring your focus onto the pie chart. Pie charts are circular graphs. They
Okay.
show the relationship between a whole and its parts.
Yes.
Here, the whole circle is divided into sectors or the smaller parts, and the size of each sector is proportional to the information it represents. Like in the previous one, the Medicare was having the maximum share in the budget. So that was occupying the maximum area in the circle.
Right.
So this is how the pie chart is going to help me get the information.
Right.
Now I have another pie chart here. So how is this pie chart drawn and what is the information it is representing is what we will try to understand now. So this is a pie chart. We know it's a circular graph where the sectors are made. It is the activity of a child on a complete day. So these are the activities a child takes up on one complete day. So he or she has got 8 hours of sleep on that day, 6 hours of schooling, 4 hours of homework that he or she does, 3 hours of play, and 3 hours of all the remaining activities which are left over. So
Right.
this could be represented as a pie chart because I'm taking all the 24 hours of the day as the complete circle.
Right.
So what I can understand from here is the circle represents the complete day or one full day, which
Right.
is made of 24 hours. Then the hours spent on sleeping is 8 out of the 24 hours which is available for the child. So 8 by 24, that means 1/3 of the circle is to be represented as the sleeping hours. So that's why I'm getting that fraction. That fraction will tell me what part of the circle the sleep is represented as. So 1/3 is the part of the circle which is occupied as the sleep. Next, moving on to the hours spent in the school is 6 hours. So out of the 24, if 6 hours is for the schooling, the fraction of time spent on the day in school is 1/4 of the circle. So I should make 1/4 of the circle and tell that is the share for the school hours. Now how these parts are made is what we will take up when we draw the pie chart, because these are constructed based on the angle that this sector is making at the center. Now how to find that angle I shall explain when we take up the drawing of the pie charts. So the next portion is the hours spent in homework, which is 4 hours. 4 out of 24 will give you a fraction of 1/6. So 1/6 of the circle should be represented as homework. And the last hours spent in a play time is 3 and the others is also 3. So the remaining 2 parts will be 1/8, which is 3 by 24, 1/8 part of the circle. So this is how a pie chart is drawn. When you want to represent the data given in the form of a pie chart, the whole circle is considered as one whole and all the remaining portions should be proportionately allocated area in the circle depending on the fraction it is producing with respect to the whole circle. So I think with that, now we will take up a problem and try to understand how this tabulated data can be put in the form of a pie chart.
Pie chart,
So
yes.
let me look into the problem and try to understand the problem first. On a
Okay.
particular day, the sales of different item at a baker's shop are given below. So
Okay.
there is a bakery selling all these items.
Right.
And the sale made with respect to each item is given in rupees. So the ordinary bread on that day is sold for 320 rupees.
Okay.
Biscuits is sold for 120. Cakes is sold for 160. Fruit bread for 80 and the other items in the bakery is sold for 40. So
Okay.
on that particular day, the baker has made a sale of equivalent to 720 rupees. So this is the total sale he has done. And these are the individual items whose sale is given to us. Now, if I want to represent this as a pie chart, first I need to understand that the complete circle that I shall be drawing will represent this 720 rupees, which is the total sale made on the day. Now, out of that 720, 320 is to be allocated for ordinary bread, 120 for biscuits, 160 for cakes, 80 for fruit bread and 40 for the other items. So first we have to make the fractions
Yes.
allocating for each of these items.
Right.
So how do you make this fraction? It is 320 out of 720.
720.
And similarly 120 out of 720.
Right.
So once these fractions are obtained, then we have to take the sector out of the circle. Now how is the sector made? It is based on the central angle I told you. What is the angle that this portion or this fraction of circle makes at the center will decide how big or how small the sector has to be. So for which I will take you through this tabulation now. So this is how you have to prepare the tabulation before you go and draw the pie chart. So the items we have already listed, the ordinary bread, the biscuit, cakes, fruit bread, and the other items. So the sale in rupees of each individual item was already given to us, which we have written. The next step is the crucial step, because each of this should be represented as a fraction of the whole circle.
Right.
The whole circle represents the total sale, which is 720. So out of that 720, 320 is allocated for the ordinary bread. So the
Right.
fraction of the circle which has to be ready is 320 divided by 720, which amounts to 4 by 9.
Nine.
So this fraction is to be removed from the entire circle. Now, how do I remove this? Unless I know what is the angle between the two radius that I'm going to draw and
Right.
remove the sector, I can't do it.
Right.
So how do I find the angle? Now I know in a complete circle, the angle is totally 360 degrees, because once when I go
Excuse
round
me,
and
ma'am.
complete a circle, 360 degrees is done. Now, out. Yeah, is someone calling me?
Ma'am, here in the table you have given it, but when we see the angles, it is exactly divided by 2. By 2 is the thing, ma'am. 360 is 320 is 160, 120 is 60, like that it is there, ma'am. Is that same for all the cases?
I didn't understand your question, Arun. Please come again. See, the fraction is the first thing that you have to do. Out of the entire circle, for each of those items, that is ordinary bread, biscuits, cakes, etc., there is a particular amount spent. So out of that 720, what is the amount spent for each item is known to us, and
Yeah,
using
ma'am,
that,
but
we
when
are
you
finding
see
the
that
fraction.
the rupees is for ordinary bread, it is 320. But
Okay.
the when we see the angle after doing all the things, after finding out the fraction multiplying with 360, after we are getting 160, which is
Yeah.
yeah, exactly half. For 120, we are getting 60, which is exactly half of that. Is that same for all case? If it is same for all case, we can just divide it by 2 and we can get the answer, no, ma'am?
No,
Because
no, absolutely no. All the cases it will not be like this, because the total angle depends on the fraction, and the fraction depends on what is the amount spent on each item. This need not be the same every time. No, incidentally here it happens that it is exactly half the amount that you're taking. It will not happen always. This is on a particular day the sale has been like this. It need not be coinciding like this every time. You cannot generalize this and tell, okay, I will take half of the given amount as the angle. That is wrong. It is just a coincidence that it has happened like this in this given problem. It is not, it cannot be generalized at all. You have to first find the fraction, then using the formula for the angle to get the central angle. You have to follow these steps one by one. Don't ever generalize based on one problem. All right?
okay, ma'am. For finding fractions, we can simplify the things, no, ma'am.
Yeah, that's exactly what is done. No, 320 divided by 720, when you represent it in the simplest form as a fraction, it is written as 4 by 9. That is the simplest form. Beyond this, you can't simplify 4 and 9 because they don't have a common factor between them. So 4 by 9 is the lowest form of the fraction 320 divided by 720. Once you get the least form in which it can be represented, then you have to multiply that fraction with 360 to give you the central angle. And the central angle is required because this is the angle which will represent the sales of ordinary bread in the given day. Similarly, for the second one, that is for the biscuits, the central angle is 60 degrees, because these are the angles which will decide the area of the sector for these particular items. ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾರು? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಂಗಲ್. ಸೊ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಹೌ ಬಿಗ್ ಆರ್ ಹೌ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ the sector will be. And because this angle is coming out of the fraction of the total sales, it is definitely going to be proportional. So ordinary bread day sales maximum idre you are seeing the central angle is maximum for ordinary bread compared to the other items, because that is having the maximum sales, and which is having the least sale, the other items. 40 rupees is the sales for that particular day, and hence correspondingly or proportionately the central angle for that item is the lowest. Did you understand? Can we proceed?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, is this problem should be written in notes?
Yes, definitely. I'm coming to that. I thought I will not stop the video in between because continuity will be lost. Now you just listen and try to understand. Then I'll tell you what all you have to write in the notebook. Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. Out of that 360, only 4 by 9 belongs to the ordinary bread. So how do I find the angle made by this fraction at the center? It is 4 by 9 multiplied with the total angle, which is 360.
Okay.
So that will come out to be 160. So
Okay.
in the same way, for every fraction corresponding to the items that you have sold should be calculated. So your second central angle, which represents the biscuits, will be 1 by 6 of 360, which will be of 60 degrees. Then the next one is the cakes, which amounts to 2 nines of the entire circle. So 2 9 multiplied with 360 will give you an 80. Then for the fruit bread, the fraction comes out to be 80 by 720, which is 1 by 9. And hence 1 by 9 multiplied by 360 will give me a 40. Then the last one, the other items were sold for 40. So 40 divided by 720 has brought it to 1 by 18. So the angle at the center for this sector will be 1 by 18 multiplied by 360, which will become at 20 degrees. Now, because I have all the angles at the center made by all these sectors, I should be able to easily divide the given circle into the sectors, and each sector will correspondingly show these shares of these items. Now, before you go and draw the pie chart, which I shall be demonstrating step by step to you,
Okay.
you have to see that this entire fraction should sum up to 1. Why do you think it should sum up to 1?
Because we have to add central angles, and the total amount, total degree should be 360.
Yeah, the fraction is actually taken from the entire circle.
Right.
So when I make all these parts, they should again sum up to the entire circle, which is called the unity. The entire
Yes.
one circle is a unit circle.
Right.
So all these fractions, before even you go and draw your pie chart, please confirm if your calculations are done correctly.
Right.
You have to add all these fractions. Definitely it should sum up to 1. Similarly, all the angles here should sum up to 360 degrees, because you are going to divide the entire circle into parts. So all the parts put together again should give you back the whole circle. So
Right.
all these angles should definitely sum up to 360 degrees.
Right.
So this is confirmed. I have seen that it sums up to 1, and here also it sums up to 360 degrees.
Okay.
Now we shall go and see how we can make the pie chart.
Okay.
So there are a few steps that you have to follow. Finally, your product is going to be like this. Now, how
Okay.
did I get this is what I'm going to demonstrate to you. You can keep your compass and your rulers ready with you. You can do it along with me. It's very interesting and very simple also.
Yes.
So we will start with the steps. So the first step, I know I have to start with a circle.
Yes.
So I take a convenient radius in my compass and draw the circle. So the
Okay.
circle should be ready like this. You
Okay.
can take it as big as you can accommodate in your paper or your notebook. So
Okay.
once the circle is drawn, the next thing will be the center has to be located, because all the central angles are going to be pointed towards the center of the circle. So the next step would be to mark the center of the circle, which I will call it O. The next step is I have to mark a point on the circumference of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess why I'm marking a point on the circumference or the boundary of the circle? It is because I have to draw the radius.
Right.
The line segment which is going to connect the center to a point on the circumference is going to be the radius.
Okay.
And why do I require this radius? Because the sector is that region between two successive radii with the central angle between them. So I go and draw the radius joining the O and P. The next step will be, you will be taking the central angle with respect to the first item, which is the ordinary bread. It makes an angle of 160 degrees at the center. So how do I locate this 160? Take your protractor, keep it along OP and mark this 160 degrees. Can you see? The
Yes.
protractor is kept along OP. The center of the protractor should coincide with O, and hence you go and mark the 160 degrees. So the 160 is located, remove your protractor, join it as a straight line and go and intersect the circumference at the second point now and locate that point and call it Q. You understand? So OP is the first radius that we had. Now OQ also is the radius because it is a line segment connecting the
Right.
center to a point on the circumference. So
Right.
can you see? This is that sector which I wanted. making an angle of 160 degrees,
Right.
which I am trying to mark here now. So this angle I have taken as 160, so I have marked it as 160, and
Okay.
hence the sector is ready.
Right.
You can shade it in the color that you want to tell that this portion of the entire circle represents the sales of the ordinary bread, which you
Okay.
can again recall as 320 rupees. You can label it there also. Now, what
Okay.
should be the second step? Now, again, you will have to find the second sector, for which you
Right.
require the next radius.
Yes.
That is, the protractor now will be kept along OQ. Can you see the protractor is kept like that?
Yes.
And here, the central angle for the biscuits is 60 degrees. You can refer to your tabulation there.
Right.
You should mark as 60 degrees. So you should be very careful. Starting with 0 here, gone to 60. Mark the 60, remove the protractor and draw the line. So you got your third radius of the circle. Can you
Okay.
see?
Yes.
It's getting marked there, and I am marking the angle also as the 60 degrees, and hence my sector is ready. This is the second sector, which is going to represent the sales of biscuits, which is taken as 120 rupees. So that portion of the circle is going to represent the biscuit. So successively like this, you will keep marking the angles at the center.
Right.
Now the next radius that you have to mark is at a angle of 80 degrees, because cakes are sold at a rate of 160, representing 80 degrees at the center. So you see how the protractor is kept. It is kept along OR, and from here the 0 starts. You have to mark an 80 degrees. You can always refer back to your tabular column to see that the angle for the sale of cakes is 80 degrees. So once that is marked, same procedure.
Okay.
Pull it on to the circumference of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
The point of intersect is located.
Yes.
Mark the angle as 80 degrees.
Okay.
Good. And then color it in a different shade so that you know it is the representation of that sector representing the cake,
Okay.
amounting to a sale of 160 rupees. So
Okay.
now you should be able to guess what is the next step. Now your protractor has to come back along OM.
Yes, OM,
So the
yes.
new radius has to be ready.
Yes.
The next one is the, I think it is the fruit bread,
Yes.
which is having a central angle of 40 degrees. So see
Okay.
how the protractor, keeping the protractor is very important, because you should measure the
Yes.
correct angle.
Right.
You are going to measure the angle between two successive radii of the circle. So what protractor should be placed on one radius, and the angle that you locate will give you the second radius of the same circle. So that's exactly what we are trying to do. So I have marked the 40 degrees there. Remove the protractor, join. You get the fifth sector and the fourth sector already together coming in.
Yes.
Can you see? This is the point where it is intersecting the circumference. The angle we have marked as a 40 degrees. Once the angle is ready, the sector is coming out as a different color.
Fruit
So
bread,
can you
yes.
guess, the remaining sector will automatically be the last portion, which
Yes.
represents the sale of other items.
Other items, yes.
And the central angle that you have there is a 20 degrees. You can see 160, 60, 80 and 40 has already become a 340. So the remaining out of the 360 is definitely 20. So
Right.
before you even draw, you can confirm, you can keep your protractor and see. Definitely that remaining angle in the 360, which is there, will be at 20 degrees. Can you
Right.
see?
Yes.
The protractor is showing me a 20 degrees. So I mark that 20 degrees and complete the circle, and
Right.
hence successfully I have divided the entire circle into all these 5 sectors. So you can see clearly, bread is the quantity item which is getting sold for the maximum amount. So
Right.
that is occupying the maximum area. Can you see? And the next one will be the cake. You can see. That's why I have put it in different colors so that the comparison is easy.
Right.
Always a pie chart is very colorful because they represent discrete data with respect to the complete circle. So having those colors is also most appealing, and it attracts your attention and gives you all the information that you want. So your pie chart is ready now. You should.
Ma'am?
Yeah. I hope the pie chart is very clear to you now. How to draw a pie chart
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
given information after you get the central angle is what I have tried to explain. If you have anything to ask, you can ask me now. Yes.
Somebody was calling me, no? Yeah, that's why I came back also. No doubts? Silence means it is very,
No.
it's very clear. That's why the silence, because you know what you have to do now. So you know how to draw a pie chart if the information is given to you. From the given information, you have to first find the fraction, which is the first column you have to make. The second column will give you the central angle. Once the central angle is fixed, then you have to draw the circle and follow the steps like I have shown you. And how to mark the central angle also I have clearly shown you how the protractor is to be kept. ಒಂದು ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯುವರ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡ್ರಾನ್, ದ ನ್ಯೂ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೊಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟು ಥರ್ಡ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಸಕ್ಸಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. So automatically the last sector or the last portion will become the final thing in your given data also. All right. So what I want you to draw is this problem. This is a problem from the exercise only. So I have taken up one problem and shown you how to draw the pie chart. Now the coloring and the shading, I leave it to you. Don't color it completely. You can use color pencils. Just do the oblique shading. I hope you understand what is oblique shading.
Yes, ma'am. Lightly we should see.
You just draw the lines to cover the sector. Don't paint it. I am not doing a drawing class that you totally paint it inside the sector.
Yes, ma'am. I understood. You're telling to shade little.
Yes. Keep your scale and keep drawing lines to completely cover the sector. You want me to show it on the board or did you understand?
Ma'am, I understand.
Yes, ma'am. In the bar graph also we do the same thing like
Yes,
shading.
correct. So don't color it because your notebook becomes very untidy. I know that. That is why I'm telling only oblique shading. Color pencils use ಮಾಡಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, but do the oblique shading neatly with your scale. All right. So ಈ problem ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, see everything is there in the video. The problem is there in the video, then the tabulation is there in the video, and the pie chart is also there in the video. So
Okay,
you have
ma'am. First we'll
clearly
write the definition of pie chart, then we will write
Yes.
the question, then we'll write
Yes,
the
yes, exactly. So go through the video after this class, sit down calmly and do your work neatly. All right. Now, before we end the class, I have an assignment.
Before
which I
questions
want
we
to
have to
share.
do, we have to write what is pie chart and some properties you told, the properties or points about pie chart. Okay.
All that you
After
write.
that, ma'am,
Yes.
only this question is enough, or is there any other questions also?
No, no, no. Only this question you do today. All
Okay.
right.
Ma'am, and the
Then
properties
first
also there in the
try-
video.
Sorry, come.
And the properties of pie chart is also there in the video. So no problem.
Yeah, that also you can write down. Only one pie chart you prepare today because this is the first time you're doing a pie chart. All right. So you do it and get back to me tomorrow if you had any difficulty. Maybe we will take up one more example from the textbook. Now, before I end the meet, what I wanted to discuss was I want to give you an assignment which is there in the textbook only. So please take your textbook. I'll try to share it here also because I am talking about it. So I thought I will share it here also. You may have to pin my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What I am trying to show is in page number 71. Are you at page number 71? Please take your textbooks. Page number 71. Try this ali dedu.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you there at page number 71?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Try this is there. There are 3 questions here. All right. And the question is draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. So, 3 different situations kottide. There are 3 different situations given as 3 problems to you. And they are asking you what is the appropriate graph to represent the given information. In the question, it is asked only tell what kind of graph you have to draw. But in the assignment, I want you to draw the graphs also. So 3 questions is andre 3 graph barbeku. Now look at the question and tell me what kind of graphs you will draw for these informations given. First one. Month.
bar graph.
Yeah. The first
Bar
one
graph,
will be a
because
bar
months
graph.
are different.
Yeah.
There is no continuity.
Yes. Because they are talking about months and the number of watches sold in the respective months, you will be representing them using a bar graph. Now look at the
Because one
numbers
month has
there.
nothing to do with the second month, ma'am.
No, wait. First,
Yes.
we are
Ma'am?
not done Bhuvan, please wait when I am speaking. If all of us are speaking, nobody will be listening. I will give you time to respond. Please wait. Now look at the numbers here. Number of watches sold. Why I am focusing is it is all in thousands. How will you get 1,000, 1,500, etc. on your y-axis? Do you think it is possible?
Ma'am, we can go by 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500.
What is that you're doing by telling you will go by 1,000, 2,000?
Ma'am, as we saw, ma'am, in the last class, we saw a graph. We skipped some numbers in the y-axis, ma'am. Not y-axis, x-axis. We draw a kink mark and we skipped some numbers.
Here also you need to skip because you're starting only from July, August, September, October, November, December. So the previous 6 months, that is from January to June, you have skipped. So for that, I have taught you what you have to do. What do you have to do on the x-axis?
Ma'am, we have to draw a kink mark and we can skip.
I said I used a word there that is called something. Nobody remembers anything now. That means you don't see the video at all. I said you can introduce a kink. K-I-N-K, kink. Kink
Yeah, ma'am, I
means
also told that kink.
That's what I'm asking now. Okay. So that kink is something which is allowing you to hide the remaining portion of the graph and show what is necessary only. So from July onwards only I am showing the graph. So that kink will help me to show it from July. I am not asking about the x-axis now. I am asking you about the y-axis. It is starting from 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. This 2,000 alla nan hege tarodu graph ge.
Ma'am, we'll
Taking scale as 500.
Perfect. Very good. You should take an appropriate scale for the y-axis. How will you start your y-axis? You will tell y-axis 1 centimeter equals 1,000 units. So you will start with 0. The first one will be 1,000. The second one will be 2,000. The third one will be 3,000. Sakalva 3,000 mele nan togobeka ilva?
No, ma'am, it is not needed.
Then it will be too small, no, the graph.
Ma'am, we can go by 1,000, 1,500.
1,000, 1,500 on the scale. Hedu nange. How will you take the scale?
Ma'am,
by
100
500
is
only
equal
we
to
can take.
ma'am,
1 centimeter
is
is
500 units.
500.
You should take 1 centimeter equals 500 units. So 0 admele first one barodu 500, then 1,000, then 1,500, then 2,000, 2,500. So that will make your graph expand a little. So the scale on the y-axis is very important. Please keep it in mind. So now come to the second question. How is it different from the first one given? What kind of graph you have to draw?
Ma'am, double bar graph.
Double bar
Very good. A double bar graph because you are comparing between the walking and the cycling. Two activities are there. The walking and the cycling for the same school A. Then walking and the cycling for school B. And walking and cycling for school C. Double bar graph ಹೇಗೆ draw ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ last year ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? So ಇದನ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ. Now somebody was asking whether I can use the quilling sheet to do the double bar graph instead of shading it in 2 different colors or 2 different designs. Maybe you can think of using your quilling sheets, but I think the quilling sheets will be too very thin for you to put it in the bars which you are creating in the graph. So
Ma'am,
that
for
I
the
give it to you.
double bar graph, what can we take as the width of the bar graph? For double bar graph, it can be 0.5 centimeter or it should be 1 centimeter.
No, it will be 1 centimeter because you have 2 bars within the same rectangle. First bar will be 0.5, second bar will be 0.5, and the total rectangle will be 1 unit only. That is 1 centimeter.
Yeah, ma'am.
Don't
First
reduce
bar
that.
will be 0.5, 0.5. So 1 will
Bar
be.
1 will be 0.5, bar 2 will be 0.5. And the total bar for school A will be 1 centimeter. Okay. Now come to the third question. Again, what kind of graph will you draw? Aren't you looking at the third question? Look at the third question. Again, you have teams, Champions Trophy of World Cup 2006 and ODI in 07. So for the same country, 2 comparisons are done. So again, you will have a double bar graph. Yes, a double bar graph. Okay. So this also you should be preparing in your sheets. Now these are going to become your portfolio activities later on, because this you will be filing it in your folder. So do these on your graph sheets and paste it on unruled sheets and maintain them separately. Gottaita, I will see if you are able to take a pic of this and upload in your assignment
Write
in
the
the
question also in the
classroom.
white paper.
Yes, the
Okay.
question to be written and the graph to be pasted alongside.
All right.
So on the graph, sorry, on the sheet only do only one question so that it is neatly coming. All right, because this is going to be assessed as your portfolio activity. You have to do it neatly. So I'm giving you time till this weekend. So till Saturday, maybe next Monday, if you submit, it is enough. Simultaneously, I will see that you are uploading the pics. That means you can take a photograph of your sheets and upload in the classroom. I will make a provision for that. All right. So that all of us can see each other's work. That's the reason I'm doing it. All right. So for next 1 week, look for a place in the classroom where I will be allowing you to upload the pics of these graphs that you draw. Now, quickly before we end the meet, I wanted to focus your attention on one more try this activity in page number 81. Are you at page number 81? Please come back to page number 81 quickly.
Yes, ma'am. I am at page number 81.
Yeah. Again, you have three situations given to you. And here also, which form of graph would be appropriate to display the following data anta kelide. So today, leisurely go through this and get back to me tomorrow and tell me what kind of graph you will draw for this. All right. And these 3 questions are also your assignment questions. So 3 plus 3, in all you have 6 graphs to draw. All right. That's why you are given time till the end of the week. By next Monday, I think everything should be ready. Any more questions? Otherwise, I think we go and end the meet.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Ma'am, this
I did
all
ask-
do in
I did not ask you to
practical
go yet.
geometry.
I did not ask you to go. Bhuvan, where are you running away? Harshavardhan, you're telling me something. Yeah, please tell me.
Ma'am, this all do in practical notes.
No, in unruled sheets. Draw the graphs on graph sheets and cut the graph sheet and paste it on unruled sheets. ಇದನ್ನ sheets ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದು assignment and it will become a portfolio assessment. So ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು sheets
Ma'am, only sheet notes no.
ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ವಿಡಿಯೋನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್. ಇದು ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್. ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Yes, ma'am, in a sheet we do.
Yes, 6 sheets should be there. You will have 6
Okay.
questions and 6 sheets. And those
A4 sheet.
Yes, A4 sheet. Keep it carefully inside your folder because when the school reopens physically, I will be going through it. Before that, you will be allowed to take pics of these 6 sheets and upload in the classroom so that I can see everybody's work. And you people also can
Okay.
see each other's work. All right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any more doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I think we'll leave the meet here. Bye. We will meet tomorrow.
Okay,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I saw the RoboCompass website which you used for the drawing, but what I saw is that in even in the GeoGebra and in RoboCompass, we have to write the commands, which is a different. It is like a language that we know to write
It is
the
simple language only, Arun. By practice, it will come. See, I have been using RoboCompass for the last 4 years now. And GeoGebra, I have been using it for more than 7-8 years now. So I also learned it like that. By usage, I have learned. If you have leisure time and you are interested, it is totally self-explanatory. There is no big program written for this. It is simple statements which has to be given and it will follow your instruction. All right. So if you have leisure time, you please discover and learn it. It's always good. I am happy that you are trying to discover some technology always. Good. See, I also started using it because I wanted to impress and make my children be motivated to learn, because always a teacher standing in front of the board drawing the pie chart, drawing the bar graph is boring. So to give a variety, I have learned this and it is very easy. You can learn. All right. Okay, then I think we will leave the meet. Bye.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Leave the meet. Bhuvana, Pragna, Nisarga, Nandan,